That moment when tears begin to fall and you wonder if she can still feel your love, if she knows how much you miss her, if somehow your grief reaches her in that mysterious realm beyond death. You are not alone in this pain. Thousands of hearts around the world beat with the same anguish, the same desperate longing to know that the bond of love does not end with the last breath. Tonight, you will discover something that will change forever how you understand tears, grief, and the eternal connection between a mother's heart and the child she left behind. Through the mystical revelations that Saint Faustina Kowalska received directly from the merciful heart of Jesus, you will learn what truly happens in the invisible world when your tears fall for the one who gave you life. This is not mere comfort or beautiful words to ease your pain. This is divine truth, revealed to a humble nun who saw beyond the veil, who spoke with souls in purgatory, who received direct messages about the mysterious communion between the living and the dead. If you feel called to discover these spiritual truths that can transform your grief into light, write in the comments, "Jesus, I trust in you." This simple phrase is not just a comment, it is a prayer, an act of faith, a key that opens doors between your heart and heaven. Subscribe to this channel so you will not miss more teachings and counsel from Saint Faustina, because each revelation here shared can be the answer your soul has been desperately seeking. What you are about to discover comes from the Diary of Saint Faustina, that sacred book where she recorded with trembling hand the words that Jesus himself spoke to her about his infinite mercy, about the souls in purgatory, about the power of prayer and tears offered with faith. Are you ready to understand what your mother feels when you cry? Are you prepared to learn how to transform your grief into a bridge of light that reaches her soul? Then stay with me, because this journey through the mysteries of divine mercy will give you not only knowledge, but also peace, hope, and a renewed certainty that love never dies. It only changes its dwelling place. Saint Faustina Kowalska was not a theologian with years of academic study. She was a simple Polish nun, born into poverty, with barely 3 years of formal education. Yet God chose this humble soul to be the secretary of his mercy, the messenger of truths that the world desperately needed to hear. In her diary, she recorded an extraordinary vision that sheds light on our question today. She wrote that one night, her guardian angel led her to a place filled with mist and fire, where she saw a multitude of suffering souls. These souls were praying with great fervor, but without efficacy for themselves. Only we, the living, could help them. One of these souls approached Saint Faustina and spoke words that still echo through eternity. "We feel every prayer, every tear shed with faith, every sacrifice offered for us. But we also feel the despair of those who love us when they forget that God's mercy is greater than death itself." This revelation opens a window into the mystery we are exploring. Your mother, wherever she is in her journey toward eternal glory, is not deaf to your love. She is not indifferent to your tears. But what she feels depends greatly on the nature of those tears, on whether they are offered with faith or drowned in hopeless despair. Jesus told Saint Faustina something that should transform how we grieve. The souls of the deceased do not move away, they only change their dwelling place. They remain united through love to those they left on earth, and this union becomes luminous when it is nourished by prayer and trust in my mercy. Can you imagine what this means? Every time you cry for your mother with faith, with trust, that God holds her in his merciful hands, your tears become like golden threads that connect your heart to hers. They become prayers that rise to heaven and descend as consolation upon her soul. But if your tears are filled with despair, with rebellion against God's will, with the dark thought that everything ended when she took her last breath, then those same tears become heavy chains that bind both you and her to suffering. Saint Faustina saw this truth in her visions and wrote with urgency, Souls in Purgatorio suffer more from the lack of faith of their loved ones than from the purifying fire itself. This is the first great revelation you must engrave in your heart. Your mother feels your love, but she needs that love to be expressed through faith, through prayer, through trust in the God who created her, redeemed her, and now perfects her for eternal glory. Chapter 1 ends with this spiritual mantra for you to memorize and repeat whenever grief overwhelms your heart. Mother, I offer my tears to God for you, knowing that His mercy transforms my grief into light for your soul. Say this prayer not once, but make it the rhythm of your heart. Every tear you shed from now on can be an act of love that reaches her, that consoles her, that accelerates her journey toward the fullness of joy in God's presence. But do not stop here, because in the next chapter you will discover something even more profound: the specific ways Saint Faustina taught us to help the souls of our deceased loved ones, and how a single practice can bring more relief to your mother than 1,000 tears shed without prayer. Are you ready to learn how to truly help her? Then continue this journey with me, because the revelations of divine mercy are about to illuminate the darkest corners of your grief. Now that you understand your mother can feel your love through the veil of death, you need to know something crucial that Saint Faustina learned through direct revelation from Jesus. Tears alone, no matter how sincere, are not enough. They must be united with prayer, with sacrifice, with acts of mercy done in her name. This transforms everything, because it means you are not powerless in the face of death. You have in your hands, or rather in your heart and soul, powerful weapons of love that can bring immense relief to her. Listen carefully to what Jesus told Saint Faustina about this. When a soul on earth offers even the smallest sacrifice for a soul in purgatory, I accept that offering and apply it immediately as relief to the suffering soul. A single Hail Mary said with fervor brings more consolation than years of tears without prayer. Do you understand the magnitude of this revelation? Your mother is not asking you to cry endlessly. She is asking you, from wherever she is, that you transform those tears into prayers, those moments of grief into moments of spiritual communion with her through the heart of Jesus. Saint Faustina provides us with specific practices that become bridges between earth and heaven, channels through which divine mercy flows towards souls in need. The first and most powerful is the Holy Mass. Faustina wrote in her diary, "During Holy Mass, I saw many souls approach me to thank me for prayer. They said that nothing brings them more relief than when someone has a Mass celebrated for them." Think about this deeply. When you have a Mass offered for your mother, you are not just remembering her. You are placing on the altar the body and blood of Christ Himself, the infinite price of redemption, specifically for her soul. You are giving her not your small human love, but the infinite love of God made tangible in the Eucharist. This is why the Church has always taught that the greatest act of charity for the deceased is to have Masses said for them. It is not empty tradition, it is mystical reality confirmed by the visions of saints like Faustina, who saw directly the effect of each Mass on suffering souls. The second practice Saint Faustina urgently recommends is the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, prayed specifically for the deceased. Jesus told her, "Oh, if souls only knew how much power they have through this prayer. I bind myself to grant whatever is asked through this chaplet, if what is asked for is compatible with my will." When you pray the chaplet for your mother, you are invoking the infinite mercy that flowed from Christ's pierced side on the cross. You are asking that the precious blood and water that gushed from His heart wash over her soul, purifying her, bringing her closer to the eternal light. Faustina saw in vision how souls in purgatory rejoiced when someone prayed this chaplet for them, how the flames of purification became less intense, how hope filled their hearts. One soul even told her, "This prayer is like refreshing water for us, like a gentle breeze in the midst of our suffering. Tell the living to pray it for us. Your mother is waiting for this prayer from you. Every time you pray, for the sake of his sorrowful passion, have mercy on us and on the whole world, you are wrapping her in divine mercy. The third practice, often overlooked but powerfully effective according to Saint Faustina, is offering your daily sufferings, disappointments, and even your grief itself as a sacrifice for her soul. Faustina wrote, "For the souls in purgatory, I offer my day, my prayers, my fasts, my mortifications, and all my sufferings. May your mercy, O Jesus, envelop them and lead them to eternal light." This means that the very pain you feel from missing your mother can become a redemptive offering for her. Instead of allowing that pain to spiral into despair or bitterness, you can say to Jesus, "Lord, I accept this suffering. I unite it with your suffering on the cross. I offer it for my mother's soul, that it may shorten her purification and bring her more quickly to you." This is the alchemy of divine mercy, transforming the lead of human suffering into the gold of spiritual benefit. Your grief becomes her grace. Your tears, offered in this way, become prayers that God cannot resist because they are united with the precious sufferings of his own Son. Saint Faustina gives you this mantra to repeat whenever grief strikes. Jesus, I unite my tears with your tears, my pain with your pain, and I offer all for my mother's soul. Write this in your heart. Let it become your automatic response to sorrow. Now you possess 3 powerful weapons: having masses said for her, praying the chaplet of divine mercy, and offering your daily sufferings for her soul. But the revelations of Saint Faustina go even deeper, and in the next chapter, you will discover something that might surprise you. What your mother actually wants from you more than anything else. It is not constant mourning, not endless grief that keeps you trapped in the past. What she truly desires, what brings her the greatest joy according to the souls who spoke to Saint Faustina, might be completely different from what you imagine. Are you ready to discover what a mother in the light of eternity truly wants for her child still walking in the shadows of earth? Continue with me, because this revelation will set you free from false guilt and give you a mission of love that honors her memory while allowing you to live fully. The souls in purgatory who appeared to Saint Faustina often express something that surprises those still living. They said, "We do not want you to destroy your lives with inconsolable grief. We want you to live well, to grow in holiness, to become saints, because that is what truly honors the love we shared." Can you grasp the freedom in these words? Your mother, seeing from the perspective of eternity, understands something you might not yet fully comprehend. The greatest tribute you can offer her is not to remain forever broken by her absence, but to allow her love to continue bearing fruit in you by making you a better person, a holier soul, someone who will one day join her in the joy of heaven. Saint Faustina learned from Jesus that souls in purgatory have great clarity about what truly matters. They see the vanity of so many earthly concerns that once seemed so important. They understand with crystal clarity that the only thing of lasting value is love expressed through faith, through virtue, through mercy toward others. Jesus told Saint Faustina something profound about how our deceased loved ones view our lives. Souls rejoice when those they loved on earth practice mercy, because each act of love on earth generates light in the spiritual realm. When you feed the hungry, clothe the naked, visit the sick, comfort the sorrowful, you are weaving a garment of light that beautifies the soul you love. This means that every time you perform an act of charity in your mother's name or memory, she feels it. She receives spiritual benefit from it, and she rejoices that her life and love continue to generate goodness in the world through you. Do you want to truly console your mother? Do not just cry for her, do good in her name. See someone who reminds you of her and show them kindness. Help someone in need and say in your heart, "This is for you, Mother." Give to the poor and say, "May God credit this to your account." These acts of mercy become like flowers placed on the altar of heaven, offerings that please God and bring relief to the soul you love. But Saint Faustina also learned something that might be even more important. Your mother's greatest desire is that you become holy, that you allow God to perfect you, that you use your life on earth to prepare for the eternal reunion. One soul told Faustina, "Tell my son that I do not need his tears as much as I need him to go to confession, to receive communion worthily, to live in grace. Every time he receives Jesus in the Eucharist with a pure heart, I receive grace. When he resists temptation and chooses virtue over sin, my purification accelerates. His holiness speeds my journey to heaven." Do you see the mysterious communion that exists between your spiritual life and your mother's state? You are not separate, isolated individuals. You are members of one mystical body, and what affects one member affects all. Your growth in holiness is not just for your benefit, it benefits her. Your sins do not just wound you, they affect her. The Church calls this the communion of saints, and Saint Faustina's visions make visible what faith teaches. We are all interconnected in Christ, and our prayers, sufferings, and virtues can be offered for one another. Therefore, the question is not, how can I grieve properly, but rather, how can I live in a way that honors her memory and helps her soul? Saint Faustina gives you this answer through the mantra you should make your life's mission. Mother, I will become the person you hoped I would be, and through my holiness, I will speed your way to God. This is not pride, it is love. This is not selfish ambition, it is the highest form of filial devotion. Every time you choose prayer over distraction, virtue over vice, mercy over judgment, faith over despair, you are saying, "I love you, Mother," in a language that reaches across the boundary of death. Every time you resist temptation and remain in grace, you are weaving another thread in the tapestry of light that surrounds her soul. This is what she wants from you. This is what brings her more joy than 1,000 tears. And in the next chapter, you will discover something even more beautiful. How to recognize the signs that she is at peace, how to know that your prayers are working, and what Jesus promised through Saint Faustina to those who persevere in praying for their deceased loved ones. Many people who pray faithfully for their deceased loved ones ask with anxiety, "How do I know if my prayers are reaching her? How can I be certain that she is being helped?" Saint Faustina, in her mystical wisdom, learned from souls themselves how they communicate with the living.